Alright, and we will continue with our Rome the Great Whore series. Yesterday I streamed Rome the Great Whore, the Jesuits ushering in the New World Order Part 5. As you can see, it only has 31 views. And then I recorded Rome the Great Whore, the real history of the Illuminati revealed 3 days ago. I uploaded it, I recorded last week, and it only has 30 views. As you can see right here, I uploaded about 4 days ago here on BitChute. It has 85 views. And this one I uploaded right after yesterday's streams. It already has 50 views. So the videos are doing much better here. I get more views because YouTube is really suppressing the channel. As you can see, the other videos have 192 here, 139. This one has 385. This one has 271 and 143 views, 160 here. So the videos in general are doing much better here. So if you have not subscribed to this channel, please make sure you do. And I hope it's a blessing. And today we will continue reading from Vatican Assassins. We will read chapter 25, the Jesuits, 1815 to 1860, the great conspiracy of the Jesuits with their evil Holy Alliance of European despots against the Calvinist Federal Republic of these United States of America. The name of Jesuit was, suffice it to say, but synonymous with all ambition, craft and treachery, duplicity and talent to be conceived by the human mind. Let the court of Rome bear the responsibility of its daring. Necessary, indeed, to its service may be the devotion of such a band, but how perilous the determination to employ it. Anthony Gavin, Spanish ex-priest. So let the Turks of Cyprus us beguile. We'll lose it not so long as we can smile. Edward de Vere. According to our previous chapters, we know the Jesuits are counter-reformation. Their Council of Trent and Jesuit oath prove that they purpose to destroy the Protestant Reformation. Since the 13 American colonies were entirely Protestant and the Federal Republic established by the Constitution was a Protestant form of limited government, reason, logic, common sense, and knowledge of history confirms the reality that the Jesuits had a secret plan to destroy our nation. America's Declaration of Independence was fashioned after the 1775 Mecklenburg Declaration of Independence put forth by Presbyterian Calvinists of North Carolina. The blueprint for America's Constitution has been devised by Palladio Webster. Its Constitution and Bill of Rights had been penned by James Madison, and its government had been established with the sword and statesmanship of George Washington, all white Protestant and Baptist Calvinists. Though the Jesuits succeeded in using their Freemason John Adams to foment the revolution, create the evil Great Seal, and give shelter to the society that hated Washington's victory over Cornwallis, defeating their plan of submitting the nation to George III. That plan was greatly enhanced by the Holy Alliance of European sovereigns in 1815, the secret treaty of Verona, Italy, furthered the conspiracy, which in turn was countered by the Monroe Doctrine of 1823, but the final touch was the Jesuit general's secret plan at Chieri, Italy in 1825. Therefore, we are safe in saying the Jesuits, with Prince Metternich's Holy Alliance, conspired to overthrow that successful example of popular Protestant liberty and envy the world over the Federal Republic of the United States. For years, our Protestant Republic refused to acknowledge the sovereignty of Vatican City as well as the temporal power of the Pope. After 1867, as a result of the Jesuit hand in Lincoln's assassination, the American government never openly sent an ambassador to the Vatican until 33rd degree Mason FDR, without the consent of Congress, sent Knight of Malta / CFR Marion C. Taylor during World War II, Rome's advisor to the OSS, headed by another Irish Roman Catholic Knight of Malta, Wild Bill Donovan. Our founding fathers knew of the Jesuit intrigue directed at the new Protestant Republic of the United States of America. In 1816, John Adams, who had been known as the King Aping President, wrote to Thomas Jefferson, "Shall we not have regular swarms of them here, in as many disguises as only a king of the gypsies can assume, dressed as painters, publishers, writers, broadcasters, and schoolmasters? If ever there was a body of men who merited eternal damnation on earth and in hell, it is this society of Loyolas. We are compelled by our system to offer them asylum, Adams protecting the order." Many writers warn of this great conspiracy of the Jesuits. Samuel Morse, the father of the Morse code, was one of them. The preface of his great work, Foreign Conspiracy Against the Liberties of the United States, written in 1835, reads, "The author undertakes to show that a conspiracy against the liberties of this republic is now in full action, under the direction of the wily Knight of Malta, Prince Metternich of Austria, who, knowing the impossibility of obliterating this troublesome example of a great and free nation by force of arms, is attempting to accomplish his object through the agency of an army of Jesuits. The array of facts and arguments going to prove the existence of such a conspiracy will astonish any man who opens the book with the same incredulity as we did. Of the Jesuits, Morse wrote, and who are these agents? They are for the most part Jesuits, an ecclesiastical order proverbial through the world for cunning, duplicity, and total want of moral principle, an order so skilled in all the arts of deception that even in Catholic countries in Italy itself it became intolerable and the people required its suppression. Morse, in alerting Protestant America to the great Jesuit conspiracy against our free and popular form of government, further described the Jesuit order. Let us examine the operations of the Austrian Society, St. Leopold Foundation, the Leopoldines, being the present-day Knights of Columbus. For it is hard at work all around us. Yes, here in this country, from one end to the other, at our very doors, in this city Boston. From a machinery of such a character and power, we shall doubtless be able to see already some effect. With its headquarters at Vienna, under the immediate direction and inspection of Metternich, the well-known great managing general of the diplomacy of Europe, it makes itself already felt through the Republic. Its emissaries are here. And who are these emissaries? They're Jesuits. This society of men, after exerting their tyranny for upwards or 200 years, at length became so formidable to the world, threatening the entire subversion to all social order, that even Pope Clement XIV, whose devoted subjects they are and must be by the vow of their society, was compelled to dissolve them. They had not been suppressed, however, for 50 years before the waning influence of popery and despotism required their useful labors to resist the light of democratic liberty and the Pope Pius VII, simultaneously with their formation of the Holy Alliance, revived the order of the Jesuits in all their power. From their vow of unqualified submission to the sovereign pontiff, they have been appropriately called the Pope's bodyguard. And do Americans need be told what Jesuits are? If any are ignorant, let them inform themselves of their history without delay. No time is to be lost. Their workings are before you in everyday's events. They are a secret society, a sort of Masonic order with superadded features of revolting odiousness and 1,000 times more dangerous. They are not merely priests or priests of one religious creed. They're merchants and lawyers and editors and the men of any profession having no outward badge in this country by which to be recognized. They're about in all your society functioning as temporal coadjutors, most apparently in politics and the media. They can assume any character, that of angels of light or ministers of darkness, to accomplish their one great end, the service upon which they are sent, whatever that service may be. They're all educated men, prepared and sworn to start at any moment and in any direction and for any service, commanded by the general of their order, bound to no family, community, or country by the ordinary ties which bind men, and sold for life to the cause of the Roman pontiff. And what military tactic would the Jesuits use in their conspiracy to overthrow America's Protestant constitution, erecting an absolute tyranny in its place? Jesuits are not fools. They would not startle our slumbering fears by bolting out the monarchical designs directly in our teeth, except so far as to cover their designs. Let every real democrat guard against the common Jesuitical artifice or tyrants. It is founded on the well-known principle that extremes meet when in despotic governments popular discontent arising from intolerable oppressions of the tyrants of the people has manifested itself by popular outbreakings to such a degree as to endanger the throne, and the people seem prepared to shove their masters from their horses and are likely to mount and seize the reins themselves. Then the popular movement, unmanageable any longer by resistance, is pushed to the extreme. The passions of the ignorant and vicious are excited to outrage by pretended friends of the people, like the American black communist revolutionary rioting during 1968 Anarchy ensues, and then the mass of the people, who are always lovers of order and quiet, unite at once in support of the strong arm of force for protection, and despotism, perhaps in another but preconcerted shape, resumes its iron reign. Look at France in her late Republican Revolution, 1844, and in her present relapse into despotism, Jesuit advised Napoleon III, 1852. The writer then makes this artifice of tyrants the great Jesuit maxim for world domination under fascist, socialist, communist dictators crystal clear. He who would prevent you from mounting his horse has two ways of thwarting your designs. If he finds efforts to rise too strong for his resistance, he has but to add a little more impulse to them, and he shoves you over on the other side. In either case, you are on the ground, perfectly describing Europe's upheaval in 1848. A personal friend of Professor Morse believed this warning of the great Jesuit conspiracy. He was President Abraham Lincoln. We read, "The Protestant of both the North and the South will surely unite to exterminate the priests and the Jesuits. If they could learn how to preach the nuns and the monks, which daily land on our shores under the pretext of preaching their religion, are nothing else but the political emissaries of the Pope, of Napoleon III, and other despots of Europe, to undermine our institutions, alienate the hearts of our people from our Constitution and our laws, destroy our schools, and prepare a reign of anarchy here as they have done in Ireland, in Mexico, in Spain, and wherever there are any people who want to be free." Further, the Duke of Richmond, who had been governor of Canada in 1815 to 1816, told Horatio Gates, an eminent merchant in Montreal, the capital of Jesuit Quebec, of the same great Jesuit conspiracy against the United States. We read, "The Church of Rome has a design upon that country, and it will in time be the established religion, and will aid in the destruction of that republic. I have conversed with many of the sovereigns and the princes of Europe, and they have unanimously expressed these opinions relative to the government of the United States and their determination to subvert it." And how would the Jesuits and the Holy Alliance accomplish this task? While employing the common Jesuitical artifice of tyrants, by bringing in thousands of easily agitated Roman Catholic immigrants, especially from Ireland. We read the narration of our hero Charles Chiniquy when he was invited to a meeting of priests at Buffalo in 1852. The priests sent by the bishops of the United States declared, "We are determined to take possession of the United States and rule them, but we cannot do that without acting secretly and with the utmost wisdom. If our plans are known, they will surely be defeated. Silently and patiently we must mass our Roman Catholics in the great cities of the United States, remembering that the vote of a poor journeyman, though he be covered with rags, has as much weight in the scale of power as the millionaire Astor, and that if we have 2 votes against his one, he will become as powerless as an oyster. Let us then multiply our votes. Let us call our poor but faithful Irish Catholics from every corner of the world and gather them into the very hearts of those proud citadels which the Yankees are so rapidly building under the names of Washington, New York, Boston, Chicago, Buffalo, Albany, Troy, Cincinnati, etc. Under the shadows of those great northern cities, the Americans consider themselves a giant and unconquerable race. They look upon the poor Irish people with supreme contempt, as only fit to dig their canals, sweep their streets, and work in their kitchens. Let no one awake those sleeping lions today. Let us pray God that they may sleep and dream their sweet dreams a few years more. How sad will their awakening be when with our outnumbering votes we will turn them forever from every position of honor, power, and profit. What will those hypocritical and godless sons and daughters of the fanatical pilgrim fathers say when not a single judge, not a single teacher, not a single policeman will be elected if he be not a devoted Irish Roman Catholic? What will those so-called giants think of their matchless shrewdness and ability when not a single senator or member of Congress will be chosen if he be not submitted to our Holy Father, the Pope? What a sad figure those Protestant Yankees will cut when we will not only elect the president, but will find and command the armies, man the navies, and hold the keys of the public treasury, the Federal Reserve Bank. Then, yes, then we will rule the United States and lay them at the feet of the Vicar of Jesus Christ, that he may put an end to their godless system of education and impious laws of liberty, of conscience, which are an insult to God and man. Chiniquy then responds in commenting on the plans of the bishops. From that, the Catholic priests, with the most admirable ability and success, have gathered the Irish legions into the great cities of the United States, and the American people must be very blind indeed if they do not see that, if they do nothing to prevent it, the day is very near when the Jesuits will rule their country from the magnificent White House of Washington, occupied by the orders George W. Bush, to the humble civil and military department of this vast republic. The truth seeker. By 1963, the rich Irish Catholics will be the true power brokers of 14th Amendment America. Industrialist J. Peter Grace Jr. would head the Cardinals' political and financial elite, the Knights of Malta. Joseph P. Kennedy, friend of billionaire Knight of Malta Aristotle Onassis, would be supreme in power, business, and entertainment. And Francis Cardinal Spellman would be the greatest and most powerful archbishop in American history today. Edward Cardinal Egan has replaced Spellman. William J. Flynn replaced J. Peter Grace. CFR/trilaterist William J. McDonough headed the Federal Reserve Bank in New York City, later replaced with brother CFR member Knight of Malta Peter G. Peterson and CFR member Joseph A. O'Hare with Leo J. O'Donovan, are two of the empire's most powerful professed Jesuits of the fourth vow, being former presidents of Fordham and Georgetown universities respectively. Yes, indeed, the true men of power in America are evil, white, Gentile, Irish, Roman Catholics who are completely at the beck and call of the company Jesus, the militia of the Black Pope. The Jesuits would bring one such Irish Roman Catholic family to Boston. Its patriarch would become a baron in the commerce of alcohol and one of the founders of the Jesuit theater of unholy Hollywood. In becoming one of the nation's most powerful Knights of Malta, he will go on to be our ambassador to England after aiding Pius XI in making FDR and Hitler dictators over historically white Protestant nations, only to be pitted against each other during a fratricidal 4-year war. One of his sons would become the President of the United States to the delight of the order, but the son would turn on his Jesuit masters by resisting the Pope's temporal power. That son was John F. Kennedy, and he, without mercy, would be wounded in the house of his friends by the man who had performed the wedding of his brother Ted, Francis Cardinal Spellman. And here we have Irish Catholic Kennedys at the coronation of Pope Pius XII in 1939. We have Knight of Malta Joe Kennedy with his master, Pope Pius XII, in the 1950s. Joseph P. Kennedy, Life and Times. Here we have Zionist/CFR New York government Herbert Lehman, Lord Halifax, politician Newbold Morris, Joe Kennedy and his boss, Cardinal Spellman, 1940s. And here we have Edward and Joan Kennedy being married by their master, Francis Cardinal Spellman, in 1958.